Book your driving lesson now at dla-driving.co.uk. Sponsored by DLA Driving School.
Hello everybody and welcome to Hometown.
Yeah, it's not good, is it?
I'm Luke Gregory and Dave's with me, no Bataro. I would normally play the little intro, but I can't be bothered today because Sunday was a shambles. But look, somehow we've got to look back on Derby Day defeat. And look, I'm sure there's Watford fans joining us right now to see what we're going to say. So hello, welcome to the podcast. It just didn't go anywhere near the way we wanted it to go, did we?
I'm going to start by saying the beginning of the day was brilliant. And by the time we got to Watford, it was still good. But as soon as that whistle went, you just realised that it was awful. It was just an awful afternoon of football from Luton. I don't normally want to compliment Watford, but, you know, they did a job, right? They did everything they needed to do. I know we're going to go into the game a bit more. I'm just really disappointed because it's the first show that we've had at their place for, 16 years, and with fans, and we just didn't show up.
It's bad enough going there and losing 4-0, right? But I think what hurt Luton fans just maybe a little bit more was the fact that, like you said, we just didn't turn up. There was no, from what it looked like, passion. There was no fight. It was like no one wanted to make a tackle. It was just, we had nothing. And it just felt like that, we haven't played like that in years. One of my mates who I used to work with, who supports Watford, unfortunately, messaged me and was like, I thought Luton were going to, be a bit confident, and but we didn't. We just looked lost.
For me,
we looked lost.
For me, when you go to a derby like this, and I've seen quite a few Luton Watford games. You go, there's always a passion in the crowd, or there should be, and there's always that tenseness when you're playing. But there's always crunching tackles. There's always commitment. There's always those battles on the field that you think, come on, you've got to really. For want of a phrase, I don't mean take them out, but, really get into them. Let them know you're there, that type of thing.
Well, we said on the preview podcast last week, that first tackle is going to be so important. Yeah. And it was from one of their boys.
Yeah, and we didn't
put that in. And it just felt like, apart from Sonny Bradley fouling João Pedro, I don't think...
That wasn't a foul.
Didn't look like a foul.
It wasn't a foul.
There wasn't no... there was just nothing. And I think it was just so disappointing.
There was nothing for us supporters to get happy about. Listen, when you go 1-0 down so quickly, it just puts the mockers on it, doesn't it? But... I hate to say this, I really hate to say this, but Watford were better in every part of the pitch for us. I hate to say that. They outclassed us in places, they out-shithoused us, they did everything they needed to do to wind us up, and they got the result, and fair play to them for that. But, we are better than we showed on that day, illnesses or not.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get into Nathan Jones and what he said in a bit. I guess we should just rattle through some 3-word reviews. Harry said that one hurt. Ollie says didn't turn up. JP says one off, hopefully. Steve says got everything wrong. Dan, complete letdown. Mike says refund the fans. Lee, massive reaction needed. Sean said a 6-point week, but that's the thing. The preview podcast has got Watford fans now laughing at, we did a phone in and the predictions that we all said, and we were all going to this game so confident. And one of the sentences that got branded a lot on our preview show was Watford players aren't going to know what it means.
I think the question was, will Watford players know what it means? And do you know what? If you had to compare the two teams on Sunday, you'd have gone, they bloody well did. They literally bloody well did. Even from when, who was it, Davis, who scored the goal? Even when he scored the guy right in front of us, giving it large in front of us, you're just thinking he knows what he's doing.
Their player waving Osho off the pitch.
Yeah, So, you know what? They absolutely were rolled up for it. And, fair play to them for that. I don't like complimenting them, but, they were the better side, and you can't say anything different to that. We were woefully off the pace. We were woefully off the game. And, they didn't really create much for us to shout about. And, if we'd have gone there, if we'd have gone to Vicarage Road and we'd give them a game and come away and lost, I'd have gone, bloody hell, that was great. Didn't want to lose, but we put some effort in. But I just felt so let down by the team. And I don't care if you're a really staunch Luton fan and you really, really, really hate Watford, as you should, but you've got to give them credit for what they did. And they were better than us in every department, and that hurts more. The fact that we didn't win, and we got, and it's not that didn't win it. We got slaughtered.
Just the manner, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's the manner of
we
defeat.
just sort of just rolled over and died, and give them 4-0. Now I can forget about that in a few weeks.
Hopefully.
But I can forget about it because you've got to move on. However, the performance was dire. It wasn't anything to get excited about. Not one point in that game did I think we might do this. I'm just so disappointed because I've looked forward to it for quite a while.
3 changes from the Norwich win. Freeman, Bradley and Adebayo coming for Potts, Lansbury and Cornick. Which Nathan Jones saying Potts and Lansbury struggling with an illness which kept them out of the starting 11. Because it was a bit weird because you look at Dan Potts, he started pretty much every single game this season. So to him to be dropped for this game, you probably looked at it and thought, okay, it's a bit odd. But Nathan Jones is going, we've got illnesses. We had Potts out. We had Lansbury out. Our starting 11 is still a very strong starting 11 for us, which in other championship games gets wins. Yeah. So I don't feel like we can sit there and go, teams, illness, team selection was against us. That's why we lost.
We don't know that. I'm sure we have to accept the fact that the players are ill. You have to accept that. Didn't he say Luke Berry was in the dressing room being ill at the time? So
it's true, but Luke Berry's not played for us in so long.
But he had to fill the bench up with some people. But you can't use it as an excuse. But if they're unwell, right? Shouldn't be picked.
It just annoys me.
No, it just annoys me.
This whole result annoyed me.
Well, the result can annoy you. You got to put if you put your proper head on, you've got to say we all went there with high expectations, and they were blown out of the water in 3 minutes. The atmosphere for us where we were standing was excellent when we started. When we got in the stadium a little bit earlier to sort of keep some of the atmosphere in, it was really cool. After 3 minutes, you get a kick in the teeth with I don't even know what to call that goal.
Well, it's a good time to score a goal in a derby game, isn't it? Because it did pretty much kill our away end quite quickly, and it's a poor goal to concede. And for some reason, they had so much space over on that left-hand side, and the overlaps there. He's free to cross it in, and Davis is a clinical striker in the Championship, like or not he was for Forest last season. He has been proven to score goals like that, and it's. You just look at it and just think it's just the worst possible start for us. It's what we didn't need is to concede early in that game on Sunday.
We wanted that to be us, didn't we? We wanted us to be making that first shot on target and score. I don't know what to say about that goal, really. I just don't know. I think we were a bit lacklustre in defence. They should never have allowed the cross in the first place. You're right. Didn't shut them down quick enough. I think Bradley took some stick there as well, didn't he, with the goal? But you know what? I go back to the thought that the Watford players looked bigger and stronger than all of our players, and even we love Alan Campbell and we love Jordan Clark in the midfield, but they were just overrun all of the time, and there was nothing there. There was just nothing, and I find that incredible. How can we be that poor? Well, Watford that good? Probably. They were Premier League last season. So, you got to say that about them. But
we couldn't deal with João Pedro either. You saw him knock it past Sonny with a neat little flick. He speeds away. There's times where I think in a highlights package I saw, he's dribbled past 3 of our players in the midfield into just so much space. And I just felt like there was so many times on Sunday where their players in the midfield just had no one around them. And they were free to run. Then they had the runners from Sarr going left and Davis going central and Pedro going right. But
I said to you at the game, why aren't we closing these up earlier? Why aren't we filling those spaces in? We just couldn't keep up. We literally couldn't keep up. So, again, I say that Watford, sadly for us, were better than us by miles on the day.
2-0, terrible goal to concede, stroke half time. If you're going to concede if you're going to concede after 3 minutes,
why are we doing this?
Why are we conceding on 47 again?
No, but why are we even talking about this?
I know.
But you're right. We're getting towards half-time. Get in at 1-0. We've got a chance to regroup and get it sorted. And Nathan, give them a right bollocking and get on with it.
Yeah.
And you concede. I think it was a bit soft, wasn't it?
It was a terrible goal. You know, why are we talking about it? Let's just move on. 3-0.
Oh no, let's not even talk
Terrible
about
goal.
Yeah, but it was a terrible goal. But for me, right, in the game, Horvath made a couple of saves. One in particular down and went in front of us when he pushed it to past the post, because that was going to go in. So they could have been 3-0 by that point. But what was going through his mind when he kicked past the ball to their player? What was he?
High pressure, wasn't it?
I don't care. That's a hoof. He side-footed it. He should have just hoofed it away. I don't get it. I don't get what it was in his... Who was he trying to bloody pass it to? He just, have a go. Hey, I'll just stand here. I might have a 3-0 accumulator on or something. I don't know.
Out of all the games, though, to make your first mistaken goal, it was just one of them games yesterday where every single pass or touch we did just seemed to go out of play for a throw-in, or was overhit, or wasn't, strong enough for a pass to reach the other player.
Do you know, Jacobs put a poor kick from...
It was a poor kick.
It wasn't a poor... He tried to pass it to someone, didn't he?
Yeah, and if his pass was to the person, it goes to the person. He doesn't pass to João Pedro.
He just needed to get it out that area. Was under pressure, get it away. Again, a major error for a goalkeeper in the Championship for me. That I know you're right, on Derby Day, it's not the one you want to hear. So, yeah, are we moaning? Yeah, we are. But, again, we've got to put a caveat on that. And I've said it already, I hate saying it, but Watford were clearly the better team.
Saar completed the scoring, cut inside past Bree, was it, and put it in the bottom corner. That's when we got off our seats and left the game. I was just sent off as we were walking back to the car. But
do you know what, though? It pains me to leave a game like that, but it just got to me so bad. I just thought I just couldn't bear the thought of them getting a fifth or a sixth one, so I didn't want to stay there, genuinely, because I didn't think that we would, get anywhere near anything. We had nothing to cheer about the whole game. Nothing.
According to the stats, we had 3 shots on target.
Yeah.
9 shots. Don't remember any of them.
Yeah, Campbell, maybe. One straight into goalkeeper's arms. I'd call that a pass back almost. But, the disappointment is we didn't win, but the major disappointment was we were rubbish.
Yeah.
Absolute rubbish. And everybody really, really thought we could give them a game. And even Watford fans were worried about playing us at that point. Now they're all laughing at us now, and rightly so, because we were shocking. No, we were shocking. And there's no getting away from it. There's nothing... correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, Luton fans, not Watford fans. I don't need any correction from you. But, that's probably asked them to do it now, isn't it? But they didn't look like the team we know. They didn't look like we had a chance. They didn't give us anything to be happy about. Nothing.
No.
And that's the disappointing thing. Like I said, if we'd have gone there, lost 1-0 and played our hearts out, you'd have gone, well, we give that a good go. But we capitulated big time. Big time. I think I tweeted and said, you've let us down big time. And I feel that's how we feel as fans.
Going into this, the last month of the podcast, or the last 2 months of the podcast, every week I said, would we take losing X game to win that one? Now we're sat here after a 4-0 loss.
Yeah, of course you would have said, with hindsight, you go, yeah, of course we've done that.
If someone said to you, lose QPR and Norwich, but beat Watford, would you have taken it? I think you would have done, wouldn't you?
Well, fair enough. Given the result we've had, yeah, you'd say that. But however, we haven't beaten Queen's Park Rangers for a long time, and they're top of the league. That's a great result. We haven't, we had a good result against Norwich. Norwich were Premier League. So you've got to put it all into perspective. That 3 decent teams we played. I hate to use the word decent again for Watford, but you can't get away from that. So, the wrong 6 points. If we'd have got 6 points, we'd have lost to Norwich and got Watford, and QPR would have been very happy. But, look, it's done, isn't it? It's done. But there again, would you rather kick on from this, do Watford in the return, and finish above them in the league? Of course you would.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you kick on from this. That's what you'd say, wouldn't it?
Well, that's all you can do, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's all you can do. I don't really want to talk much more about the actual game. So let's talk about what people have been saying that went so wrong for us on Sunday, because take the derby aspect out of it, it's still a terrible performance from us. So we asked on Twitter today, why did we get it so wrong? on Sunday. It's our worst defeat of the season. It's our worst performance of the season. I can't think of a game where we played as poorly as that. Joel says 2 takeouts for me, 1 midfield. He says the 3 of Freeman, Clark and Campbell doesn't work. Desperately needed a defensive midfielder to stop them running through us. 2, whilst we weren't at it, all 4 goals were avoidable. They didn't have to do much to beat us, and that's the main frustration.
Well, that's it. That's what we just said. We were shocking. We made them look so good. But again, they got their game plan right and we didn't. Our midfield was non-existent. It stopped nothing. We've already said that. It stopped absolutely bugger all. I agree with Joel.
Freeman, Clark and Campbell is an interesting one in that because it is quite an attacking one. And maybe you look at that and the previous years of us playing the diamond with Glenn Ray as a holding, maybe something like that would have suited us a little bit better on Sunday. Maybe even having Osho as a holder on Sunday from the start.
It's a difficult one to answer, isn't it? Again, we're all sitting here absolutely sick to our teeth that we put in such a shit performance. It's a difficult one to answer for me. You get your midfield right, then that stops a bit of it. But it's not just the midfield; the defence were poor. And on another day, Eddie Bayo would have scored with his head, and he don't get it right. We weren't shutting people down quick enough. Why? Do you know what? I should have said no to this one this evening.
Steve says, our away setup depends on keeping it tight at half-time at least, so an early goal conceded against a team lacking confidence was the worst thing that could have happened. The Lockyer Osho chance could have changed the game, followed by a howler. It wasn't our day. Lockyer probably should have scored, shouldn't he?
Well, he said he felt a tug on his shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I thought the referee was atrocious, by the way. For a Premier League referee, I thought he was awful on Sunday.
I think...
I thought he was terrible.
Yeah, look, again, we'd say that, but he was... I could swear again, but I'm not going to. He was absolutely terrible in places. I mean, the Bradley challenge he got booked for me, was a proper challenge. He's too busy pussyfooting around in the Premier League status. That's what he was doing there. And also, I've got to say, and again, you got to. If it was bloody Danny Hilton, we'd all be going, "Well done, Danny." But the way that some of the Watford players, Davis, I think in particular. There was a couple of times where they fell on the floor clutching his face, like he said he'd been elbowed and all that bullshit. Yeah. And there's a couple of times where he had the ball, we were moving forward and there's someone lying on the floor pretending to be hurt. They game managed really well.
That's what we should have done more of, though.
Exactly. They game managed really well and we were shocking and we fell for every trick in the book.
Robbie said played the occasion, not the opposition. And by the sounds of it, the team wasn't the team that was meant to be out there. This is all from this sickness bug thing that Nathan Jones mentioned, which Ben says, this sickness bug, the lack of right side with those left and what felt like Bell, Alfie and Freeman all playing left side.
Yeah.
LTF Dave... Sorry, what were you going to say?
I'm just going to say the sickness bug thing, right? It's got to be real, isn't it? Otherwise, Nathan Jones is a complete idiot for saying it. So it's got to be real. And if they are suffering, surely our squad's quite large. Surely there's some people that were suffering less than the ones he put out there. I'll maybe get a youngster and go, you know what, here's your chance, go for it, because you know what, we're bloody losing it anyway. So
I mean, I'm not putting it past the fact that Lansbury and Potts maybe had a sickness bug, but I still think the 11 we put out was strong enough to not do that.
Well, you talk about sickness bug, I've been sick ever since.
Same. LTFC Dave says, too much to put in one tweet, but as painful as it is, the likes of Sarr and João Pedro wouldn't look out of place in the Premier League. And when they're on it, any side is going to struggle. Best thing we can do is dust ourselves down and go hard next week.
Yeah, you can't disagree with that. We've said that already, Credit where it's due, they played really well. We were shocking, but we're up against some decent players.
I mean, João Pedro's linked with Newcastle at the end of the transfer window, and it was 30 million be brandishing around for that.
Yeah, but, and they showed, honestly, when they came out, and you looked at our squad, and you looked at how they looked stronger and bigger and more athletic than we did. On another day, it might be different, but Sunday, nah.
Sparky says, and what has been said, listening to the interviews, wrong team selection. They were on a bad run, had to turn it around. We were on a good run, which had to end somewhere. And Nathan Jones didn't read the room about the fixture.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough.
The thing is, though,
they need to impress Billick because he had a terrible start to his career as manager of Watford. I think he'd lost more games than was it Edwards they sacked?
Yeah,
he'd lost more games than them. On the bounce really. So they had to do something, and maybe we as fans underestimated what we were going up against as that team, sadly. I think that's it. And I think that you're right, the manager didn't set it up right.
I think my words, when we went for a drink on Saturday morning and we were talking to Mark about potentially what the score could be, and I said, I do feel like we could easily lose today, but I don't think we will. But we did.
Well, we did lose easily. That's easy.
Easily.
That's the easy answer. We did lose easily. I think the disappointment for everyone is not the defeat, but the manner of the defeat and the size of the defeat. That's the disappointment. You know, you lose derbies every now and then. You know, we won one, lost one last time we played them. So you do lose every now and then, although I would say our overall record is pretty decent against them. But sometimes it doesn't go for you. I think back the last time maybe it was 4-0 would have been 97 and we was at home. But thankfully I was seriously ill and in hospital, so I didn't have to go.
You cannot say that.
Well, I was in hospital and I was listening to it on the radio and I couldn't believe, you know, how bad it was. But having said that, you know, I know we haven't played each other for a long time, but you never know. We might get our own back.
I mean, better do. Dylan says midfield was overrun, wasn't strong enough, and we didn't want it as much as they did and couldn't do the basics right.
Everyone's saying the same thing. If you watch the game, if you was there, or you watched it on iFollow, everyone's saying the same thing. They wanted it more than us, and that was apparent. The only thing, you know, you have to question our ability compared to theirs was poor.
The basics were terrible, and it's like I said earlier, it was stringing passes together that weren't happening. It was balls being slightly overhit. I think Horvath puts one straight out for a throw in. It gets the whole stadium going, way. It's just like them moments that you just kind of need to get right. The basics you need to get right. Just as your foundation, we didn't do on Sunday. And it just contributed to a terrible overall team performance.
Yeah, look, I don't want to criticise anybody anymore because it does my head in. I feel there's certain things at the game that I didn't enjoy. Obviously, the football itself. The atmosphere wasn't as good as it could have been. You know, you think when they were winning that by that many, it would be absolutely rocking, wouldn't you? But
it was pretty...
Yeah, it was pretty poor up until they scored their third, I thought. And then, you know, have a mascot with a bloody drum. Everything, I think that anything that could have pissed me off on Sunday happened, literally. And I genuinely... I make no apologies for saying I hated the result. I got to say it again. You know, they did what they needed to do, and you can't doubt that they were the better team on the day.
I fully expect what you just said to be clipped and put all over Watford Twitter. But
what's that?
That you just got annoyed by everything. But look,
I did get annoyed by everything. But do you know what? If they're Watford fans watching this and can't sit there and go, well, actually, he said some good things, because I've said they were better than us on the day. I said that they were stronger than us on the day. I said that they wanted it more than us on the day. It doesn't mean to say I enjoy it. I don't. I'm bloody angry about it. But no, I'm bloody angry about it. But you can't get away from that, can you? I walked away from that stadium so deflated it's unreal.
Nathan Jones comments post-match about the sickness bug. We asked you on Twitter, what did you make of them comments? Was it a valid excuse for the performance? Richard said, being there was painful. Watford looked and played like it meant everything to them. We looked rather rattled from the start. I think sickness played a part, but ultimately, this hurts to say, on the day they were miles better than us and deserved the 4-0 roll on April.
Well done, Richard.
JMO says, dislike it as an excuse. If it's that bad, then ask for the game to be postponed. If it isn't, those lads weren't fit to play, then why bring them with them?
Yep.
How does that look to those who were just fit but didn't make it to the matchday squad? We got pumped, so we just had to lick our wounds and move on. Adam says, I'm not having it personally. Not like we were missing the likes of Adebayo, Morris and Campbell and Clark. He says, on the day, the 11 we had on the pitch were more than capable of beating most teams in this league. We just got outfought and outplayed from the start.
True.
Which is kind of what we touched on earlier, wasn't it? It's not
just depressing me, all this.
It's not like we had all of our star players out. Dan Potts has been brilliant this season, but there's been times on this podcast where we've sat there and we've asked out on social media, can we see a future with Dan Potts? And people are going, no, I think we can upgrade, blah, blah, blah. So it's not... Yeah, he's done well this season, but it's like, except we haven't had Adebayo, Morris out, Clark out, Campbell out.
Yeah, I don't want to talk.
Chris says, think it's valid and hugely unlucky, assuming if it's true, but it's so disappointing that we didn't have a plan B that kept us even remotely competitive. Makes you realise we may not have the squad depth we think and how pivotal people like Lansbury clearly is.
Do we have to do this anymore?
No, that's that really.
Yeah. It's
done now, isn't it?
I'm going to try and be more positive. I want to be more positive. that game now is out of my memory until something pops up on my bloody timeline. But can you just see? I'm sure all Luton fans feel the same. We're gutted, but let's move on and let's hope that we push forward from this and we get back to winning ways.
And I think it's like you said, and I think we said earlier, just the main gutting thing is just we didn't turn up. And it, like we said last week on the podcast, we kept saying, will they know what it means? And it kind of felt that we just didn't on Sunday.
Well, I think the start didn't help us, but you're right. I don't think we was up for it as we thought we might be. The fans were definitely up for it. Well done to everybody who went. Well done for those people that were jumping up and down and singing. I don't think anyone sat down really. Yeah, it's just a shame. And, to those guys that said hello to us at the stadium, nice to meet you.
So here's a question. Do you take losing 4-0 away to Watford to win your next 5 league games? Sunderland, Reading, Blackpool, Stoke and Rotherham.
I'm having it. I'm not having this conversation. I'm having it. If we could win the next 5 games, it would be amazing. But we're not going to, are we? It's unlikely we're going to win 5 in a row. I mean, let's be fair. Sunderland not going to be too easy. Reading are doing pretty well this season. They played some pretty good football. Blackpool, look at them. They've been playing some decent footy recently. And then, bloody Stoke.
Stoke's always tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always. And Rotherham, they're no mugs either. They've done all right.
As Bataya would say, every game in this league's a tough game.
Well, that shows you, when you look at the table, the difference in points between us and top and us and bottom. It's not a huge amount. But, I'm looking forward to the weekend. I hope we show a better quality of game on Saturday, and then I hope we get a result.
Part of me's tempted to give Batara a call and just get one last word on him.
Do that. Yeah, let's do that.
Should we do it?
Let's do it.
Let's see, because I kind of spoke to him the other day. I'll just be interested to see. Just one last word.
I'm going to guarantee
end this out.
I'm going to guarantee you he's going to use the F word more than once, so you might have to get your bleeper on.
Might not even answer. Oh, wait. Okay. All I know is...
Good evening, mate.
Hello, Batara. You're live on O When the Town podcast, mate. We're just ending up for today. We just thought we'd call you and we just thought we'd get your final thoughts on Sunday's result.
Just listening now.
Go on, go for it.
I was on quite a good night until you phoned me.
How disappointed were you, mate?
Was that, sorry?
How disappointed were you?
Disappointed? No, that's an understatement. You must be more so. It seems like you wasted your money to go there. Look, I don't know if I'm trying to forget about it, mate. I'm currently walking around Cardiff City Centre at the moment trying to find a good pub.
Yeah, but you haven't mentioned the game.
Yeah, let's forget about the game, Dave. Don't worry about it.
Well, that's
some good. Talk about it.
That's some good final words. I mean, we spoke about it for 28 minutes
today.
Can I
just say, is that why you're in bloody Cardiff to not come here tonight to talk about it?
What's that? Sorry, Dave?
Is that why you've gone to Cardiff, is it? So you don't have to come here and talk on the podcast?
No. This is strictly business work.
Right.
But, no, look, I don't really want to say too much today. I've kind of forgotten about it, but it was just utterly shite, wasn't it? That's all I can say really about it.
Great. Okay.
It was disgraceful. It was, no, mate, look, it was, you're bringing up hard feelings now. It was disgraceful. There was literally nothing in it. There was no fight, no passion, no nothing. It was just Watford weren't even that good. And they turned us over like an apple crumble, but it was awful.
So, mate, you're just going to completely forget about this one, yeah, and just you'll return next week and we'll hopefully just chat about a win after Sunderland. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, no, of course. 100% we're going to win against Sunderland, so it's all good. I think we was in the pub yesterday, and some guy came up to me and went, don't worry, mate, you'll turn over Sunderland next week. And I was like, yeah, okay. But no, look, it is a minor blip. It is a minor blip in our season. It's going to happen, but unfortunately, it's those tosses down the road. But we'll get there.
One more thing, Bataro. We asked on Twitter, was the sickness bug a valid excuse for the performance that Nathan Jones mentioned? What were your thoughts on that?
What was the what? Sorry, what bug?
Nathan Jones saying that there was a sickness bug around the players.
Oh, right, okay. It might have been around them, but if they weren't, obviously, if they were ill, they wouldn't be playing, would they? So that's what you got to look at it. But no, look, there's no excuses. There's no excuse for that poor. Even if the sickness bug was around, whatever, but nah. it was a shambles, wasn't it? From minute 2, minute 1, pretty minute 3 till we conceded, but nah, it was a sham the whole way around. So nah, no excuses.
Well, mate.
But I think you've got to look at the team now, and you've got to look at. You want a reaction? That's all you want. I mean, we can forget about this with another couple of wins.
Well, I've just said on the podcast, Batari, do you take losing 4-0 away to Watford if you win your next 5?
Oh, stop it.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Well, fingers crossed we do. We'll leave you to go find a pub, mate. We're going to end it there. So enjoy your night in Cardiff.
I felt like 40 fair. Thank you. I felt like 4, but I was trying to decide which one to go into. They're all so good.
Do they all serve beer?
Oh, they do, but I'm trying to find one day with like real ale.
And dancers?
You know. No, not just like dancers. I just want like a good pint of ale, and I just want some football, Monday night football. But that's what I want. Oh, what's that then? Blue Bell, hello.
All right, mate. Well, we'll leave you to enjoy that. So thanks so much for joining us, and we'll hopefully see you very soon.
I'll see you Saturday.
Yes, of course. Anyway, lads, take it easy, and try not to get too downbeat about the whole thing.
We'll try not to, mate.
No, I won't tonight.
Enjoy your ale, mate.
Cheers, lad. Take it easy now.
Bye. Always nice to hear from Batara. I guess that is it for today then. We should cut it there. Because
if this happens again, no, I'm not doing if we lose the return fixture, I'm not doing the
just
podcast.
take a week off. Right, thanks so much for watching us today. And Watford fans, if you watched, thanks. Every click helps. So thanks for that. Thank you so much for watching today. Join us on Thursday or Friday for our preview pod where we're chatting to a Sunderland fan about the game. Hopefully bouncing back. We need to bounce back. We need a reaction. So thanks so much for listening today. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.